Hi, book club members. I'm Jen,
And I'm Carrie.
and this is Warhammer 40k Book Club, where we read from a crag. This is episode number 149, and our book is Nocturne by Nick Kyme.
Well,
Insert
I
joke
mean,
here.
it's in here somewhere.
It's in there somewhere. It tells the exciting conclusion, asterisk, of the Salamanders trilogy. We posted several questions on our website, WH40k.bookclub. bookclub.com, and we encourage participation in our conversations via YouTube, our site, or Encrypted Box channel. Spoiler warning. Before listening to this episode, definitely check out the book, as we're going to be talking about the book from start to finish in great detail. I don't care how old it is. With that, let's dive in. As always, Carrie, did you like the book?
It's not the oldest thing we've read, so there is
No.
that. Um, did I like the book? It was okay. Didn't hate it. Didn't love it. Um, it reminded me a lot of my second least favorite of the Uriel Ventress books, which is the final book in those first two trilogies, or the sixth book, guess I should say. The one where I don't remember what the name of it is. It's like how little I know about it. Where the battle actually comes to Macragge.
Oh, I love that one. My least favorite one in the series is the Tau one.
I said second least. The Tau is
Oh.
least.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Yes. Chapters due. Is that what it's called? The last book?
That sounds right.
So I I don't know. I didn't like that particular book because I was kind of bored through some of it, but you also don't have the love of there are parts in that book that were great and there are parts I found boring. This had a lot of the same. Had some parts I thought were great and a lot of parts that were boring and some parts like, what are we even doing here right now? My biggest complaint is that I got names confused.
Yeah, I would agree with that statement.
So
There were
I'm
a
actually
lot of names that
glad
I
it
was like,
wasn't on
huh?
audiobook because I might have really got confused trying to
Oh
listen
my
for the
God. I thought the same thing as well. It's like, whew, that would have been, I would have needed a map. They
right.
would have had to like, while they were narrating it, they would have had to been like, this is John. So we recently started watching House of the Dragon because I'm a glutton for punishment and I just can't quit Martin. Um, and because it's basically based off of English succession historically, like there's like five names. Like Rhaenyra, don't get me started on the Rhaenys, Rhaenyra, Rhaena. Like there's like five names. So like if it was an audiobook, they would have to be like Rhaenys. This is the one who's married to the guy who's from the ocean. Rhaenyra. This is the one who's the Duck King's daughter. Like I feel like I needed this for this book too. This is John. This is the one who. Oh, okay, I gotcha.
Yep.
Like a map.
Yeah. I mean,
I
at
can.
least like I knew who Fugus was because he's the only one with an original name. So
Right.
I mean, I got him and Elysius and Emic. Got you guys. When
Yeah,
we get,
Emic is one that I was like, I know this one.
but I even with Dakir, you'd think I'll figure out Dakir. I kept getting him and Sugan mixed up, which is like would totally make Sugan angry. You know, if
For sure.
yes, that I got him mixed up. But yeah, it's like oh, because it's Tushan. There's Tushan and Heston. I'm like, where the what? Who?
Which one is this one now?
Like one of these is the Forge Master and one's the Chapter Master, or is it the Forge Father? I get them confused. I don't know my Salamanders hierarchies.
Yeah, I will agree with your statement. It's okay. I liked some parts of it. I do, and we're going to talk about this in a second here, but I do think that reading this now, I better understand. Which book was that? Hand of Abaddon? Was that Hand of Abaddon? Yeah, Hand of Abaddon. I better understand that a little bit
Okay.
because there's a lot going on in these Salamanders books. Like all of these, like little, oh, there's this over here and this here, and there's this and this and this and this and this, and here's this character, and here's that character, and here's this character. And I did think for better or worse, he did tie everything together really well and wrap up a lot of the ends. And we had said that about
Okay,
Hand of
valid,
Abaddon.
valid.
Yeah, where he like
Gotta
as
give
many
it to Nick
complaints.
Kyme. He does know how to get the threads together,
Hmm. Good or bad, whether you like
right?
this, like with the Ring of Bucharest in A Hand of Abaddon, when he was just like, oh yeah, that didn't pan out. Oh, okay. Well, you know what? Hey, at least he mentioned it and he wrapped it up, right? I felt very much the same about this book. There were a lot of plot threads where I was like, eh, I mean, at least it's an ending. Um, so he feels like the janitor, but this was his own mess that he made. So I guess that's good that he cleaned it up.
Uh,
We're gonna talk more about that in a second. But yeah, it was okay. I really can't get. I can't let the central conceit of this book go. Like
okay,
I can't. The whole series, which is that there's a lot of rivalries, and we really will go to the mattresses over our rivalries. Look, I'm here for rivalries. I love a good rivalry,
right.
right? Lyrchus and
Uriel
Uriel,
Ventress,
Leandros and Titus,
Titus.
right? Like we need I understand these people are human,
Yep.
superhuman, but they are human. So I understand that like ugh, I just don't like that guy. But the actual like what if I got him killed? I
The
can't do it.
um, so what really killed this book for me in the end was Sugon's hatred, his unwarranted hatred for Takir. Like after everything he's been through, and he still hates him. Like
Mm,
this doesn't make
mm.
any sense. And did I want to? Oh, we're friends now. No, but this
I always secretly loved you. Yeah,
right,
no,
but
we don't need that,
the
but
hatred, the
mhm.
idiotic hatred. Like at least with like Learchus and Uriel, it made sense. They were rivals. It was different. It wasn't because Uriel was from Calth and ew. Um, yeah, it's just
And
it's so
like it started that way, right? When they talk about that when they're boys, that it kind of starts that way of like, oh, you're the pores. But then as they get older, it's just kind of this rivalry that always sits there. And again, that's fine. Like even the space wolves. I am podcasting from my new podcast space, so this is going to be an adventure as my cats are down here with me. I have no idea what Caiaphas Cain is into, probably searching out heresy. Um, Anyways, it's going to be an adventure. Um, I like even the space wolves who have like rivalries, right, with one another.
well, it's like Lucas. They don't
They're
like
not going to get
Lucas.
they don't like Lucas, and yeah, they're going to probably throw him into some situations that are more dangerous than they should be, but they're not going to be like straight up get this bitch killed.
Yeah, or just like I hate you, like
Hmm.
irrationally hate you.
And the
Yeah,
reasons for it are kind of vague.
it's just because he's lowborn. It's literally what it is. He's lowborn.
Yeah, and I don't
I
that to
expect this
me
from the
just feels
Volpone,
yes,
not not the Salamanders that are well known for their compassion.
right. And I think for me, the big thing with that is oops. I think the big thing is that there's it's okay to show that the space marines are human because they are. They're human.
Yeah,
They have bad tempers. Some of them go off half cocked, right? Some of them are a little more resistant to authority than others, right? Some of them are prone to being a little maudlin. This is too human. This did not feel like a space marine chapter. This felt like, to your point, like could have been the Catachan, could have been the Cadians, and I would have been like, sure, why not?
right. Because and we've seen that with the Cadians, right? Like in long shot.
Hmm.
But I kind of I expect that more out of humans. And
Exactly,
I was
actual
fine with like,
humans.
Aegon being an anomaly, just kind of like this little snake that's out there because we've seen that too,
Oh yeah, yeah.
every now and then. So he didn't really bother me because he didn't have this like hatred, this ridiculous hatred towards somebody just because of where they came from.
let's actually, since we're talking about that, let's skip ahead to this piece because, all right, let's talk about Takir's destiny and
Oh
Sugin's
my God.
arc.
Everything with him, I was like, Jen hates all of this.
Jen does hate all of this.
She hates Chosen One stories.
I hate Chosen One stories. Absolutely hate Chosen One / Messiah figures. I'm just not a fan of. It's actually one reason that I really genuinely love the Warhammer 40k universe, and especially like in the Horus Heresy, is that everybody has, you can argue, right? Like, oh, the Emperor had his favorites, and we call Sanguinius Space Jesus, right? He died for our sins, but there's not like a chosen one Primarch of like the Primarch who clearly is the chosen one. Not even Horus. Horus
Right.
was a favorite who gets elevated, but like he's not like, oh, you will bring balance to the Force. No, no, I don't. I really struggled with this. As I said, there were some things that I was like, oh, I like this, and then others that I was like, why are you doing this to me? And that was one of them. But did Takir, did he play his part well? Was he
I
the
sup-
chosen
I
one?
suppose, like, he is literally the salvation and damnation, right? That's what we kind of figured out at the end, which I'm like, okay, that's lame. That's not being able to pick a lane here.
Right.
Um, I don't under. All right. I had no problem with him getting killed. I really didn't. Because, well, he'd already died once before.
Right.
And if he had fulfilled, and like, so he was brought back to fulfill this one purpose and now he's done, I'm fine with that. Okay.
Mhm.
But the fact that he's both, like, no, I'd hate that. Because that to me, that's always very weak. That, oh, I can't decide. So I'm going to do both. Like in your other favorite series, Wheel of Time. I'm not going to have Rand pick a girl. He's just going to marry all of them.
Carrie woke up and chose violence today. Yeah, no, I don't love that. Actually, what I was going to compare it to is so one of my favorite science fiction movies of all time is actually Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan, right?
It's
Because
a good one.
I'm about to spoil like a 40-year-old movie at this point, but
Nuh-uh.
when
It's 20s. It's 20-year-old. I don't know what you're talking about.
you know what? I love that. Let's go with that. It's
Mm-hmm.
20 years old. Uh, when Spock sacrifices himself, right? This is like just an absolute like, oh my God
Mm-hmm.
moment. And he dies. And there is no movie that comes after that. That's the only Star Trek movie they ever made. Um, and so, and then when J.J. Abrams remade it, it's not Spock who sacrifices himself, it's Kirk, and Kirk sacrifices himself, but not really. Not really. Not really. He's back. It's cool. Don't worry about it. He's back. It's like there's no real consequences. And I kind of felt that way. And it also kind of felt like Sugin's rivalry with him was kind of rewarded, right?
Yes.
Like his hatred of him, this irrational, off putting hatred, it almost felt like I, my conspiracy theory here is that fan feedback must have reached Nick Kyme of being like, oh, so then oh, well, turns out Sugin's actually kind of on base here. Um,
Maybe. The
may,
crazy thing is that
mayhaps.
everything he did with Sugan up to that point, I was like, okay, I totally, like, I'm on board with Sugan. Like, I was rooting for Sugan the whole time. And I loved how he got it, like the epilogue. He got his revenge in the end with the Marines Malevolent, who kept saying that they were still loyal. I'm like, you guys, you're kidding
Well,
yourselves.
they are killing themselves, but it's
But
kind of like
but
they are one of those chapters I love every time they show up.
but just the fact that, I loved all that, and then but then he has to, like, okay, sure, fine, you want to make him be the one that, kills Dakir. Okay, fine. I think I would have liked it better if it was Velcona, to be totally honest.
Hmm. Hmm.
Or even Fugus. Actually, probably Fugus, because since Fugus brought this about, and Fugus like, oh, I see how this is happening, I'm going to kill you. But the fact that we, like you said, Sugan was rewarded for being a bigoted asshole. I kind of have a problem
Yeah,
with that.
I have a real problem for that. And I think there could have been okay, I didn't want Sugen and Takir to go off into the sunset and braid each other's hair. Like I didn't want
No.
that to be like actually we're kind of best friends now. Um again, not to keep harping on the Ultramarine series, but I actually felt like Graham McNeil handled that really well with Lurchus and
Hmm.
Uriel. Uriel, you know, when he comes back, he and Lurchus have that moment of him being like, ugh, I just always thought that I was really cool. And Uriel's like, you are really cool. Okay. We're never going to be friends, but we, you know, it's a little softer, right? Like
Hmm.
that, you could have had that of like, all right, look, okay, you are good, right?
Like,
I guess I'll stop
you know
trying to
what?
get you killed.
You know what we wanted? We wanted the ending to Top Gun, where Iceman comes up to Maverick and says, "You can be my wingman anytime."
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of
Yeah.
what we want. Is like, you know what? You're cool. I'm cool. It's just cool. Cool. We're not gonna be friends. No, totally not friends. We're
No,
cool. Yeah.
no.
Yeah.
Don't make it weird.
Right.
But yeah, no, I think that's exactly what we wanted. We wanted this to be like an uneasy understanding and accord, I guess. Um, that I think would have been a more satisfying to your point, like if they
Yeah.
would have come to that moment and then somebody else would have killed him. Instead, it kind of feels like Tsugen can be like, ah, it was just my spidey senses tingling about the Tome of Fire.
Right. Not only that, but it also came across as petty and jealous. That Dakir has all this power, and look, he's the one who destroyed the ship. He's the one who has, kind of melted everybody. I did say, I have to say though, I did like how Nick Kyme had the Dark Eldar exit stage left, because that's totally in their idiom. We had
Completely.
some petty political rivals like, well, if I'm going to stay in control, we got to go. So this has been fun, but I got to figure out how I'm going to rule this place now. So later.
Right, pretty much. Um,
I
so
laughed very hard when that
I
happened.
laughed. I laughed too because I was like, "You fell for the classic blunder. You trusted the Eldari, the Drukari.
Yeah, oh
Like,
my God. Of all the Eldari
oh,
to trust, yeah, let's trust the Drukari.
that is a common theme actually in Warhammer books. Of oh, I mean, they're all the same, right? No, the spiky ones are bad.
I mean, even the orcs figured it out.
Even the orcs know there's a difference between the two of them. Um, yeah, I did laugh really hard at that because I'm like, as you said, like you thought this was gonna work out, and I really did like when they're just like, "Oh God, look at the time. Sorry, we got other stuff to do." These people are not
Like, this has been
emotionally
fun,
invested,
but it's time to go.
right? Like they're not emotionally invested in some Space Marine squabbles,
No.
which when you're talking about like especially like the Dragon Warriors and the Salamanders, that's kind of what it is.
Well,
It's
yes.
kind of it really is just a squabble.
Which is kind of why
Who
I
Dad
compared
liked more.
which is kind of why I compared it to the sixth book in the Earl of Interest, because it was Space Marine squabble, where Hanso was just like, "You can't destroy my stuff. I'm going to destroy your stuff," and kind of the same thing here. He's like, "You killed my mentor, so I'm going to kill all of you because that's even."
Right. At least with Hanzo, he's going eye for an eye, right? Like, look, you destroyed my planet, you killed a lot of my people. I'll just come return the favor. Like, well, and yeah, it's gonna maybe be a little bit more because I'm an Iron Warrior and petulant man child.
Hmm.
Love Hanzo. But yeah, this did feel a little. He may have overreacted a little bit.
Although
I
I
don't
will have
know.
to say, his Nihalan's goal of bringing his master back, I did not have on my bingo card.
Yeah, I will give you that too. When that came up, I was like, "Oh, okay." It was all
And,
right.
and then he
Again,
gets
kind of
away. And he gets away with it. Like, okay, there's like, in that way, there's like no true ending. All right.
that was a little upsetting, is that it did now if we continue to draw these parallels to the Ultramarine series, right? At the end of what is that? Dead World Black Sun. It's kind of open, right? Like Uriel and Pausanias, they beat the Iron Warriors, they get off the planet, and it's kind of like, whew, man, maybe there'll be another one. I don't know. Depends on what my editors say, right? This one definitely felt like it was like, ah, okay, that was the first trilogy. There will be a second trilogy. And much like the next Covenant book or the next insert any number of series here.
Well, and so there is a fourth book that's for whatever reason did not make this omnibus. Like, sure, okay, called Rebirth, and I was looking into it. It's like, does this actually go into the story? And no, it takes place like I think it said like 5 to 7 years later, different characters, different bad people. I'm like, okay, sure.
Now, again, my generous read on this would be, is this Nick Kyme evolving as an author, right? And taking in some of the criticisms of this series and being like, okay, these stories are done now. Like, wrapped up Tugin and Takir's arcs somewhat. And now it's time to go into this new story about the Salamanders, because you and I have often asked these questions of where are the Salamanders? Like,
Yeah.
other than showing up every now and then, we really don't see them in force, right? Unfortunately for them, the Iron Hands, and the Raven Guard.
Nobody cares about the Iron Hands, though.
I mean, seriously, fight me. His biggest contribution to the heresy was dying.
It's sad but true.
Yeah. Yeah, I dare you to explain to me why you really, really loved Ferrus Manus as a character. Actually, I actually welcome that conversation. I
Actually,
would love to know that.
I do like Ferrus Manus as a character.
Girl.
I do. But I also read his Primarch novel, so.
That could be. That might change it a little bit. I did not read that one. I don't know. I feel like there's like these 3 chapters that are just kind of off, because even the White Scars get more stuff than that. And I'm not saying that we don't see them at all, right? The Raven Guard pop up here and there, but they're always kind of a bridesmaid, right?
Yeah,
like,
we haven't really seen like you were saying the Raven Guard en masse, right? Like we see them like sprinkled here and there.
Salt Bay. Salt
Like
Bay
little
of,
pepper.
You know, little Salt Bay of Raven Guard and the Iron Hands. Oh, I didn't really see the hands. Like, I would say they're definitely the redheaded stepchildren. But the Salamanders, like, we've been asking, where are they? And they appear so rarely. I did absolutely love the Warhammer. I'm pointing upstairs to my TV. The Warhammer Plus series with the salamander in it. They were so amazing. So I don't know if maybe that's what that, like, okay, now we need to have a new series. Like, I'm done with that series. I've finished out their arcs. Let's bring them into this. But when did Rebirth publish?
Oh, that's a good question. You look that up and I will
Let's
turn
go
off
to the
my
Googles.
phone because I didn't realize it was still on. Have it all kinds
Rebirth by Nick Kyme. Oh, God, it published in 2014.
Seriously? Okay, so 11
Wait a
years
minute.
ago.
Okay, now I'm going to embarrass myself on
everyone,
here.
Everyone say hi to my dog. Where is she? Right there.
Rebirth is the sixth book in the Salamander series.
Okay, so what's 4 and 5?
I just work here.
You're
apparently not
up.
very well.
You're not you're now in charge of this because I thought it was number 4.
I actually thought it was number 4 too. I am just a big old dummy head. Let's see. Salamander, Fire Drake, Nocturne, Rebirth. Oh, there's a bunch of short stories. Okay, you know what? If somebody actually knows the other books, when I'm looking at the next book after Rebirth is Fires of War, which is a short story collection. Hell Knight, which I also think is a short story collection.
Which I think all of those are in this omnibus, actually.
Yeah. So anyways. Okay, anyways, it's an older book. But then I think my question then still stands of where are the salamanders? Like, we don't even really like we haven't even really seen them with Bob coming back and bringing in all of the Primaris Marines, right? Like, we know there's definitely salamanders out there, but I haven't really heard anything about them. We've heard more about the Space Wolf Primaris Marines than we have of the salamander ones.
I mean, we've heard more about
Or the
the
Iron Hands.
oh god, the chapter that was in Belisarius' call book.
Oh, the Scythes.
Yeah.
The Emperor's Scythes.
Yeah, we've heard
Um,
more about their Primaris than we have, founding chapters.
well, that's because apparently there was a lot to talk about with them.
I
I don't
mean,
know. So
like we were joking about the Iron Hands. I'm curious how the Iron Hands would take Primaris. I'm gonna guess not well.
Oh, I actually think they would take them really well because they really are just like Mechanicus Zero, right? Diet Mechanicus. And these guys are from Mars, so I would imagine they would just be like, "Do you have like really cool like implants and stuff like that?" Like,
Maybe.
now having said that, if you were an Iron Hand who had replaced your legs and your arms and everything else, right? Because the flesh is weak, and then all of a sudden they're like, "We can make you more bigger with the Primaris." Like, I have to replace everything? Be a little weird, right? You have to get like all new stuff, and maybe you're really smitten with your stuff. I don't know. Maybe they don't. Maybe they. I could see them embracing the Primaris Marines, but maybe not embracing the Rubicon.
Oh, I don't think they could do the Rubicon because there's not many pieces of them left.
This is also true. The metal just magically grows, and then we're like, oh god damn it, they really are part Necron. Anyways, um,
Well, I mean, that's what Varys Manus was made of, right? His arms and his eyes.
well, it definitely wasn't kosher. Um, telling you that much for nothing. Um, so let's talk about the Tome of Fire in general. Like, God, we made a lot of it. Like, that was the whole, like, oh, what is prophecy? This prophecy? What is this prophecy? Did it have, outside of Dakir, was it a satisfying conclusion? Did you like it? Were you like, oh yeah, that was definitely worth this 3 story? And I'm saying this a little, sorry, I don't mean this as snidely coming out, but like, was it worth the 3-book journey?
I don't know. It's like a really hard question because I guess no. Because thinking back on it, like all 3 of these books were like, yeah, it's okay. It's there. It's a thing. I wasn't ever really that invested. I mean, I literally said we should read this one next so that we can be done with the series. So I think that's like pretty much sums it up.
Not to put too fine a point on it, but yes, that's the exact conversation that we had with that. Um, yeah, I mean, it's called the Tome of Fire, and I don't know. I don't know what I was expecting, and I actually don't. This is just me complaining to complain. I don't really have a solution. What I would have rathered seen with the Tome of Fire, but like, yeah, I don't know. It did feel a little unsatisfactory. Like, oh yeah, this is gonna be a guy. The guy's gonna be the chosen one, and he's gonna be the savior. Um, but also maybe not. Like maybe he's gonna be a little bit dangerous. Like this is also, um, I don't know. It felt kind of like wishy-washy as a prophecy, I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah, I mean, that kind of describes the whole series, to be honest. Kind of wishy-washy. Like, the only thing I was invested in, honestly, was Aegon's story. Because he was the only one
Yeah.
that was interesting.
Did you like how his story ended out? Was
Oh,
that
it was fitting.
yeah?
I knew that was going to happen to him. I knew that
Oh, for sure.
he was going to get the demon implanted in him. But that's exactly how he should have gone out. Gets to die a couple
Yeah.
times and have his soul basically, tormented for eternity. Because she done murdered people.
You shouldn't do that. Also,
No,
the
and that was
40K
like
universe
the
is
thing that,
rough.
killed me in the first book. If I liked any of the books, it'd probably be the first one. But, when Nickeln died, I was like, what the? No, like that was just awful. He just had gotten, of course, like it's very typical, right? He just accepted his role, just finally felt settled. It was like, if you've ever seen Sons of Anarchy, there's a classic scene, and it's either, I think it's the 5th season, where Tara makes an arrangement with Jax. She walks in the door and she just goes and relaxes. And then Gemma's right behind her and Gemma kills her. It's like kind of the same thing with Nickel. Just, he relaxes. He gets stabbed in the back, literally stabbed in the back by
Literally.
by someone he considered, one of his brothers.
It's Julius Caesared.
He was Julius Caesar.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. The Tome of Fire, and this isn't really the Tome of Fire. This is more of like the Salamanders. And I know I complained about this in the other 2 podcasts too, with the other 2 books. I don't love Nick Kyme's take on the Salamanders, right? And I'm not saying that they have to be like totally into the meme version of them, right? Where they're like Mr. Rogers with humanity and then absolute monsters with the Eldar. I'm not saying that they have to be that way, and I'm not saying that they have to be just pure good puritanical guys. But like, again, Warhammer Plus show did a much better job of showing how they really do care about humanity, and they're just seemingly like very calm people. I did not get that impression. They almost felt like they were giving Luna Wolves. If you remember from, especially like in Horus Rising, there's that scene where Horus kind of erupts on something, and he's just like, I got too much of our home world in me, like volcano. It felt like he was going more for that, like with the rivalries, with everything. They just felt really, I guess, volcanic, but not in a good way. Like, I understand that they're forge smiths, and they work at the forges, and they have this fire burning in them, right? And I guess I just thought it could have been handled a lot subtler. But not as
Yeah, I
subtle
mean,
as
I
the
don't
Tome of
have
Fire.
like a huge base of salamanders to go off of. Like, I haven't seen that Warhammer Plus show. Is it part of the Hammer and Bolter, or is it like a separate series?
No, it's a separate series. It's Pariah Nexus is the
Okay.
first part, and then there's a follow-up part to it as well. And it's the follow-up part is arguably even better because he hooks up with a I can't remember if it's an actual ultramarine or a nova marine,
Mm.
but an ultramarine. He hooks up with one of Bob's boys, and their interaction is really, really wonderful.
Okay. So the only really background I have about the salamanders is honestly from the Horus Heresy. Well, who wrote those books? Nick Kyme. This
Mm,
is
mm.
his darling. This is his chapter for whatever reason, which is why I'm confused that you've dropped them like a bad habit. Anyway,
I don't know because yeah, like especially given Nick Kyme's role at the Black Library, I would very much expect that, look, I want to write about them. Let's do it. The Death Guard. We've gotten a better look in the Death Guard than we have the Salamanders in recent years.
yeah.
Just throwing that out there. Um, so okay, by the end of this book, demons, dragon knights, Drakari. There's just a lot going on in here.
Don't forget the
Was
wandering
it?
black dragon.
Oh, sorry. Yes, the wandering black dragon. Because why not? Was it too much? Did it work? Does he tie it all
Oh,
together?
it felt very Spider-Man 3 at many parts.
It is
Uh,
amazing how often we reference Spider-Man 3, but honestly, I feel like it is one of the best examples of biting off more than you can chew and
yeah.
having too many threads because everybody knows it too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because on the one hand, like, did I like that we kind of brought everything together with the Marines Malevolent, and I actually forgot about the Black Dragon that Emek just kind of had in his freezer. And so we got, all of that plus the Dark Eldar, which I feel like, did they really need to be there? I'm not exactly sure.
They kind of felt like gilding the lily.
Yeah.
Like the Drukari, and okay, so as much as I liked when they exit stage right, and I was like, I also kind of was like, oh, okay, I guess we didn't have to care about any of that.
Yeah, so they were kind of like Sandman in Spider-Man 3. Like, was there really a reason for them to be there? No. Yeah.
No, I will agree 100% with that statement. They felt like an antagonist for the sake of it, and like, and look, the Drukari, they have certain baggage associated with them, right? Like when you tell me that there's Drukari, we know that we're gonna get some real cruel stuff,
Hmm.
right? There's gonna be lots of blade work, lots of like bullshit, just lots of flittering about and like, now you see me, now you don't, like, and lots of and good banter, good banter. That's the only reason I get excited when the Drakari show up, because I'm like, oh, we're gonna have banter. uh, not, not. I mean, a little, but not. I don't know. I think he could have. I think maybe. I think if you would have cut any one of them, kind of like Sandman, if you would have cut any one of those,
Hmm.
well, the answer to that one is still Hobgoblin. But if you would have cut, are the Drukari the Hobgoblin?
The
I mean, James
Hobgoblin
Franco.
actually made sense because of what happened at the end of Spider-Man 2. So I'm going to still say Sandman. See, she agrees with me.
But I prefer Thomas Hayden Church over James Franco.
Oh, come on.
So, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Actually, I will agree with you because that also opens up the. Oh, you thought Uncle Ben was killed by this person? No, friend. Um, yeah.
Because that matters.
Oh, super matters. Anyways, sorry. Spider-Man 3 rants. I'm still angry about a movie that came out like 15 years ago. Not
5
even.
years ago.
No, that one actually does. For some reason, I cannot explain this. The 90s were 20 years ago,
Hmm.
right? But also the early aughts were 20 years ago too. And I can't explain that, and I won't be taking questions. Um,
The 80s were only 30 years ago.
Obviously.
Yeah.
God, don't make it weird. Um, because I'm only 35 then. Anyways, I I don't know. I it was a lot, and I think in some ways, going back to the original statement that we were making, I do think that he did a pretty good job of like bringing all of the threads together, at least to the point where I was like, okay, this all makes sense, and at least this gets closed out, right? Like we address the Drukari leaving. Okay, so that when we come to a final battle and we're like, where are the Drukari? No, they just they flit it off, right? Like roaches. Fine, totally fine. Um, but it wasn't very like it was and wasn't satisfying. Like at least you checked a box, but I feel like if you would have focused fired on just like the dragon warriors, right? And maybe just the demon or just the dragon, like if you would have just focused on something, we would have had a better story for it.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yep.
It just it was a little too much.
Yeah, well, it's over.
That it is, but I feel like we keep coming back to the $50,000 question, which is where are the salamanders?
Apparently they're pouting on Nocturne because that's what they do now. I don't know.
They feel so broody. All right, here's my hot
'Cause
take on this.
I thought they were very compassionate and they liked saving people. That's really what I
Mhm.
got from them. And so this whole thing with like, we're going to go on a walkabout and we're going to like have this big old conclave and then pout about it and then not really discuss things, but just, say like what, like, I think we should kill him. Well, I think we shouldn't kill him, but I think we should kill him. Well, I don't think we should. Seriously. I'm not wrong.
No, you're not at no, you're not at all. That just
It's
yeah, there was a lot of
very, it just, I don't know.
politicking. It felt very nobles. That whole portion that felt very nobles of Terra.
Also, I was not aware personally that the salamanders were big prophecy people.
I was not either. Um, Also, okay, and I know that I keep going back to the Space Wolves, but the Space Wolves have a prophecy. Leman Russ will return at the wolf time. They have not spent the entirety since Lehman Russ upped and left trying to search out this prophecy and trying to search out this wolf time, right? Trying to bring him back, right? Same with the Raven Guard. The Raven Guard, Dad just picks up one day,
Says nevermore. Can't
says
forget that.
nevermore, because Games Workshop's real subtle, and the common Raven leaves leaves the Raven Guard by saying nevermore, and but like I don't get the impression that the Raven Guard are like, oh, okay, we got to get our dad back. How are we going to get dad back? Like prophecy, 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 prophecy. Um, it feels like, and I know that this prophecy wasn't necessarily like directly, like solely about Vulcan coming back, but it does feel like that's become their sole character beat. Their sole character beat is we just need dad to come home, and we have all of these
Which,
prophecies. And I,
oh man, which book was that? No, it was Deathfire of the Horus Heresy. That's how a group of salamanders was. They were so upset that they finally found Vulcan and he was killed on Macragge. And one of the guys was so salty about it. Like he did go walkabout, and a volcano or an earthquake happened, and he fell into the earth. And then when they went to go look for him, they found Vulcan. So basically, what it's saying is that this broody guy sacrificed himself to bring Vulcan back. Which I'm like, he's a perpetual, so I find that weird. But sure, whatever.
yeah, don't get me
Hey,
started on the
see,
perpetual laws.
see, Sonia is voicing her opinions. Mm-hmm.
She also does not like this whole prophecy thing. Yeah, I guess, and I know I don't much care for prophecies to begin with because now we're getting into that whole like chosen one arc, right? I don't
Right.
like prophecies. And how many times do we see it play out where it's, oh, the prophecy, if we do this, we have to prevent this from happening, and then they make that happen, right? Because they're
Because
trying
it's
to
always
prevent
a
it from happening.
self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah. How many times do we see that happen? Yeah, I guess I just don't like his take on the salamanders. And here's sort of my take on this. And I'm going to compare this to Star Wars for a hot minute. Bear with me for a second. The most recent trilogy, right? I could just remember The Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker. I cannot think of the name of the first one.
Oh, Force Awakens.
Force Awakens. So those three movies were made by people who were not Star Wars fans, and they've even admitted that they were not Star Wars fans, especially Ryan Johnson. He's just like, nope, don't give a shit about Star Wars, and you can
I
tell.
did not know that.
Yeah, they also were not really. I mean, not like. then, then you had somebody who came around and made the made what do you call it? Made Rogue One, and those people were fans of Star Wars, but they weren't fan boys of Star Wars. I would actually argue that the Han Solo movie was kind of made by a fanboy of Star Wars, right? Like, do we have to explain where his dice came from? Good God, like this is Blade Runner 2 territory at this point. Which, if you ever want a really atrocious book made by a fanboy, go check out Blade Runner 2. They literally explain the like continuity errors in the movie in that book.
Cool.
Um, yeah. So, anyways,
I mean,
I
sure.
I think Nick Kyme veers more towards the fanboy side with with
Hmm.
Salamanders. Like it almost feels like I feel like you want people who are fans but not
But
fanboy something.
but then why would you make them so broody?
That I think that's within in this, and I've always said this too. Right? This is one of my big complaints with the legions, and especially in Horus Heresy with legions and the Primarchs, is that it's every author's interpretation of a legion, right?
Okay.
They're whatever their interpretation is of that legion, they're going to bring that to the. That's why, like with Graham McNeil, Perturabo always feels refuse to say Perturabo feels very. Yes, he's moody. Yes, he's broody. Yes, he's difficult to deal with, right? But he's not like this cold monster. But then other authors get hold of him and he turns into just this absolute cold, uncaring,
Mm-hmm.
uncalculating, absolute monster of a person, right? And so
Like when Dan
always,
Abnett writes them. Sorry.
um, I don't, and I'm trying to think what the short story is. There's a short story that was by, I can't remember who it was by, but it's absolutely, I hate it so much. It got promptly dumped from my headcanon about him. because I just hate the way that he portrayed him. I do think that like maybe this is the thing that lures Nick Kyme to the Salamanders is that he likes it's like, ooh, I think really broody and like this. I feel like we learned a lot about Nick Kyme as a person reading these books. I do think that it's definitely his own interpretation of them, and that's kind of because and it's hard when you have a trilogy like this, right? You could say the same thing about Fabulous Bill with Josh Reynolds. That was Josh Reynolds' interpretation of what he thought Fabulous Bill could be, as
Mm.
opposed to being this, well, what Fabulous Bill was. This very cold, calculating scientist who's experimenting because I can. Um, he then tried to turn him into this, oh, but what he's really just like kindly old, oh, I want to make everything better. But anyways, I'm ranting now. But I don't know. It feels like it's Nick Kyme's own personal interpretation of it. And it feels, I don't know. I don't know
Mm.
how to articulate this.
It's an interesting way of putting it. I guess I wouldn't have thought about it that way, but I mean, you're probably right.
Yeah, I don't know. On one hand, I want to see more Salamanders. I don't know that I want to see more Nick Kyme.
Well, but at the same time, these books are old and
Yes.
he has improved in his writing. I'm still going to hold, from Knights of Macragge. He has improved. So maybe with his improvements, we can get a good Salamander story. Maybe.
That is true. I'm actually looking just to keep me honest here. When did Nocturne publish? 2011. It looks like. Yeah, the 2011. That's a long time as an author. I think Volpone Glory gave me
Hmm.
for his writing style in general. Now maybe he just really clicked with the Volpone, right?
Oh, I forgot about
Um,
I forgot he wrote Volpone Glory. That book was great.
it's a great book. Also Knights of Macragge. He
Yes.
did great with Knights of Macragge.
But
Right? He
honestly,
made
that's probably one of my favorite books ever is Knights of Macragge.
it's a great book, and
Mm.
it's especially a great book about Kato Sicarius, who is a difficult character. Um, I think he would be capable of doing more. Like I almost want him to like just rewrite this series. Um, find two new people, go through the Salamanders, give us more Salamanders. I would like that.
Yeah, because they were a really interesting force in the heresy. So it's kind of sad to see them, even though they were scattered throughout.
Right,
They're one of the Shattered
right.
Legions, but there was that series of books about the Shattered Legions, and where the Salamanders were in that, they were fascinating, and I would love to see more of them.
I would agree with
But
that.
yeah, I mean, I do love my founding chapters. Maybe not the Iron Hands, but pretty much everybody else.
Yeah, yeah, I do love the founding chapters. I just think they deserve a little bit more. Like I really do think I don't know. I'm just kind of going into a doom spiral right now. I think at the beginning of this podcast, you're like, oh, when I asked Angel, you like the book? Like, yeah, it was okay. I think the more I'm talking through this, I'm like, nah, not really.
I still say it was okay because there was parts that I really really liked. I liked that Sugan got his revenge on the Marines Malevolent in the end.
Yes. 10 out of 10 on that. No notes.
Yes, I liked that. I actually liked how the Drukari were handled because it just cracked me up. And they were like, well, we need to discuss how I'm going to rule now, so we got to go later. Yeah, like there, and oh my gosh, and the scene where the chapter master Tucson, when he gets confronted by the Marines Malevolent, and he has a tank on one of his legs, and he's like, "I can take care of you guys, even with a tank on my leg," and kills 3 of them. Like that was a great moment of like, this is why I am chapter master, bitches.
I have a special place in my heart for when the chapter masters show up, just to remind everyone Space Marine 2. Calgar drops down onto the planet, and you're
Best
like, oh,
part of that whole dang
let's,
game.
let's, let's just remind everyone
Why
the
he's the best Ultramarine?
yeah, the Emperor's gift, right? When Logan Grimnar is like, let me just remind everyone here
Oh
why
my
I'm the
god,
Great Wolf.
such a great scene.
Oh my god, it's a great scene, right? I really do have a special place in my heart when they're just like, "Ah, apparently I just gotta remind everyone who I am for a minute." Um, love that. Makes me so happy,
Hmm.
and I did enjoy that. The Marine's Malevolent. I did think I will say as much as I don't love how, like, how much was going on in this book, I thought the Marine's Malevolent were actually used pretty well here.
I mean, I agree. I agree. I mean,
There is such a thing as
they
too
would
many.
be that petty and angry.
Oh my god.
You took my
It was very on
stuff.
brand.
I mean,
Yeah,
just showing that
pretty much.
it's not just the blood angels that are into relics, right? Because we got the salamanders hunting down the was it the 7 or 9 sigils, whatever Vulcan left them in the scavenger hunt, and then we got the Marines Malevolent. Like, it's my stuff. See, we've
Mhm.
been cut off from the Imperium because we're too cool, and this is our stuff.
Yeah. The Marines Malevolent kind of remind me of like a less cool version of the Carcharodons. Like the Carcharodons are like, no, we basically know our lot in life. We know that we're loyalists and we're gonna go do our thing. And the Marines Malevolent are like, "Ugh, pay attention to us. We're loyal. We're super loyal right now.
You
No,
don't
you're
know
not.
why you guys cut us off. Like, just ignore the malevolent in our names. It doesn't mean anything. It
Just
means that
because
we're
we're kind of
malevolent
assholes."
to chaos.
And literally everything else that draws breath. Yeah, I don't know. I
We
think you're
just don't
right. I
like
think
you
your
guys
initial
taking our stuff.
don't touch our stuff. We're kind of like the Blood Ravens like that. Um, I do. I think your initial statement of like, let's read this book so we can just be done with it. I think that was the right call. We're now done with this series. We can say that we've read the Salamander series. Um, obviously, if there's any other series we should be reading, please continue to suggest for the Wayback Machine. But I think I'm good with this one. I think I'm good. We have Yarrick and the Dark Angels still that we need to wrap up as well.
Hmm.
Um, Dark Angels being a little bit beefier, um,
Yeah.
just slightly.
Well, I
Our
mean,
other green boys.
there's 2 omnibi or omnibuses, however you want to phrase it, for that one. So we got a lot.
Yeah, and we don't want to overdo it. So
No, we got to spread that out. We don't need to have another fabulous spill. Fabulous
no,
spill is just our it's our cautionary tale when you try to
it is.
cram
It's our
all the books in
Spider-Man
together.
3.
But we are hoping that, eventually the Shark People, the new Shark People book that Robbie McNiven is writing, is going to come out soon. I got my copy of Grotznick to Mad Doc today, and I was like, we're going to read that one next, not realizing that they only release limited editions. So there's not even an ebook or an audiobook for anybody. It's like, thanks a lot, Black Library. Bunch of losers. At least
Or a
put out,
paperback for those of us who didn't want to buy the limited
well,
edition.
at least put out the ebook. You know,
Right?
come on.
Have a way for us to read this. So that one's in the pipe as well. But we actually, because of scheduling and everything else that's going on with life in general,
Summer
we are not
vacations. Summer is here.
summer vacations. Yeah, summer's here, everyone. We will not be podcasting for 3 weeks. So additional week on top of when we usually are. So we are going to then deliver an extra long episode because we're going to
Going to read
kind of
everything.
we're going to kind of do the Magos thing and we're going to wrap up the Dark Coil. And that is going to be the Cult of the Spiral Dawn, as well as the novella and the short stories that are in there. So
Yep, and the
we're going to see
novel's
how this
actually
works.
the last thing in here.
Hmm.
So yeah, so just like Magos, there's a bunch of short stories and a little novella, and then here's a novel. I still can't believe we read that book in 2 weeks. 700-page book in 2 weeks.
It was a little brutal. It was
It was
like
a great book. I loved
it
it.
was a great book. I loved it, but it was a lot of brutal.
It was. It was. I mean,
That's
yes,
kind of like upgraded.
it shows that we can do it,
Yes.
but please don't make us do that like every 2 weeks.
No, no. Um, but this one should be good. We've got 3 weeks to finish it. I
Hmm.
really want to finish out the Dark Coil.
Same.
I loved
I can't
Firecast
believe
so
we're
much.
saying that, to be honest.
It is a little painful, I'm not gonna lie to you.
Yeah.
But hey, I ate that crow. Firecast was good. It's so far, not only was it the best book that I've read this year, I feel somewhat comfortable saying it might be the best book that I've read in the last. It's definitely in the top 3 for the last for the last 12 months.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely up there and probably be my top 10 favorite books.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Like, I enjoyed it so much, I made my husband read it.
Did he like it?
He did. He did not like it as much as I did because there are horror elements in it that was like, oh, that was uncalled for. Like, yeah, there you go, that's fair. Um, but and I think I had also I think I made the mistake that I always get irritated when people do to me. I think
Overhyped it?
I oversold it a little bit. I
Mm.
didn't mean to. I was trying to be like super chill, like, oh my god, you should definitely read it. But then when like every 2 days, I was like, have you started that yet though? But have you started it yet? But when are you going to start it? I think I think that might have oversold it a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that would probably taint how I would feel about it just a little bit.
I will 100% if the situations had been reversed, I would have
Right.
been like
Yeah, because
this is
honestly,
what
the
you're pushing me
fastest
on.
way to make sure I don't read or watch something is tell me that I have to.
You contrarian, you. But so we're going to finish out the Dark Coil, which I think
Mm.
is going to be really exciting. So I'm glad about that one.
Yeah, it'll be good. Be nice. Read that for the next 3 weeks. Come back.
I
And
think also keep me honest
maybe
here.
we'll have a new book by then.
We could hope. Um, was it The Cult of the Spiral Dawn that just came out on audiobook? I'm looking this up right now.
I have no idea.
Sorry, it's been a long day. I think it was. I think it just came out onto audiobook. So that's
So
kind of exciting for
good
people
timing.
who haven't. Yeah. So if you haven't yet read it and you want to read along, then you're an audio person. There you go. Yeah. I'm trying to. Damn it, the site sucks when you're on your phone. Um, I'm excited for it though. I think it'll be a good one. Um, yeah, that'll be a good one for us. So, do
Yep,
you want to take us out, Karen?
I sure will. So you've listened to the Warhammer 40k book club episode regarding Nocturne. See, it's in here. It's in here. By Nick Kyme. Be sure to join us next time for the rest of the Dark Coil. I'm not going to list all the books in there. By Peter Fehavari. Just the rest
There's a
of the Dark
lot.
Coil. So we are an unofficial book club and not affiliated with the Black Library or any of its affiliates. You can find both the vidcast and podcast on our website, wh40bookclub.com. If you like this episode, please like, subscribe, give a review, and all those good things to the vidcast on YouTube, Spotify, or Rumble, or the podcast anywhere you get podcasts. Come join the Discord. It's fun in there. We have cool discussions like Daka Daka Flame has been showing his baby chicks. I love the summer when he shows off his farm animals. It's so much fun. So
He's one of my
people
favorite
also
things.
show what they're painting. We just had some really cool photos of some red corsairs. I forget his name. I'm sorry that he's working on. But our site also has articles about our adventures in reading other Warhammer 40k books and short stories outside the book club books. So please stay well and read from a crack.
I can't find this on the Warhammer community site. I might have imagined this. I might have been high. No, I was not. The Cult of the Spiral Dawn is now on audiobook. Thank you very much. Vindication.
You could have just gone to Audible.
Shut up, Carrie.
Good night,
I hadn't even thought
everybody.
about that.